The unexpected journey of a global shepherd, from Chicago streets to the chair of Peter. On a momentous spring day in 2025, the Catholic Church turned a page in its ancient book of history. The College of Cardinals, after days of silent prayer and careful deliberation, chose the man who would become the 267th successor of St. Peter. The world would now come to know him as Pope Leo XIV, born Robert Francis Prevost, a man shaped by continents, cultures, and a profound calling to serve. Born on September 14, 1955, in the vibrant, tumultuous city of Chicago, Robert's early years unfolded in a world still echoing from the civil rights struggles that would reshape American society. As a newborn, his city mourned the brutal killing of Emmett Till, an event that would become a defining moment in America's conscience. His birth certificate recorded his entrance into the world at Mercy Hospital, nestled on the intersection of Prairie Avenue and 25th Street, under the watchful eyes of parents who embodied education and service. His father, Louis Prevost, a man of French and Italian descent, served as superintendent of schools in South suburban Chicago. His mother, Mildred Martinez Prevost, born of Spanish heritage, was a librarian by training and a scholar by heart. With two sisters who had dedicated their lives to religious service, faith was not merely taught in the Prevost household, it was lived. Robert grew up amidst the mosaic of ethnic communities in Chicago's far south side and attended St. Mary of the Assumption School. A photo from the early 1960s shows a boy with earnest eyes, white shirt neatly buttoned, standing in line with classmates, already, perhaps, carrying the quiet demeanor for which he would one day be known. His first encounter with the Augustinian order came during his high school years at the St. Augustine Seminary. This was the beginning of a lifelong bond with the spirit of St. Augustine, an inner flame that would guide his theological pursuits, pastoral choices, and ultimately, his global mission. In 1977, after earning a mathematics degree from Villanova University, Robert entered the novitiate. His academic journey took him from Chicago's Catholic Theological Union to the Angelicum in Rome, where he delved into canon law, the same halls once walked by Karol Wojtyla before he became Pope John Paul II. Ordained a priest in 1982, his path quickly expanded far beyond American soil. Robert's missionary calling led him to Peru, where he served in remote regions like Chulucanas and later Trujillo. It was there, in dusty villages, humble churches, and makeshift classrooms, that he learned the heartbeat of the church in the global South. For over a decade, he trained young Augustinians, presided over canonical courts, and taught theology. Those who knew him then speak of his capacity to blend intellectual rigor with the soft strength of compassion. His leadership skills did not go unnoticed. In 1999, he was called back to the United States as provincial prior, and shortly after, he was elected prior general of the Augustinian order, an international role he would hold for 2 consecutive terms. In this position, he visited communities across the world, absorbing the kaleidoscope of Catholic realities, from bustling metropolises to hidden mission fields. But Peru would call him back once again. In 2014, Pope Francis appointed him apostolic administrator of Chiclayo, eventually naming him its bishop. He was consecrated on December 12, the feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe, a symbolic alignment with his deep love for Latin American spirituality. In 2015, he became a Peruvian citizen, a gesture that spoke volumes about his identity, American by birth, Peruvian by mission, Catholic by heart. In the following years, Robert's influence grew within the Universal Church. He was invited to serve on key Vatican congregations, first for the clergy, then for bishops. By 2023, he was appointed prefect of the dicastery for bishops and president of the Pontifical Commission for Latin America. On September 30th of that same year, Pope Francis created him a cardinal, assigning him the Church of Santa Monica in Rome, a place historically tied to the Augustinians. Despite his prominent role in Curia, those who worked with him described a man of quiet discipline. He preferred listening to speaking, discernment to display. He often met Pope Francis in early morning meetings where both leaders, despite their distinct personalities, shared a deep pastoral vision. He once told me not to lose my sense of humor, Prevost recalled in an interview. That laughter is part of holiness. Even with the demands of Vatican life, he remained humanly grounded. He once confessed his love for tennis, lamenting how rare it had become to find time for a match. "I am an amateur player," he said with a modest grin, "but I missed the rhythm of the game." When asked what makes a true shepherd, he responded with clarity rooted in the gospel, "A good pastor walks with his people. He listens. He does not remain in towers of authority. He builds community. He learns to dwell in compassion. Most of all, he reflects the face of Christ in every action." His elevation to the papacy was not a thunderous rise, but a patient unfolding. Those familiar with his path describe him as the least likely American cardinal to be called American, not because he rejected his roots, but because he transcended them. Having spent the majority of his life in Latin America and Europe, he carried with him a global heart. A man of governance, yet not of domination. A man of doctrine, yet always with the scent of the sheep. As Pope Leo XIV, he steps into a world fragmented by war, secularism, and disillusionment. His voice, however, is not one of condemnation, but invitation. He understands the multiplicity of contexts the Church inhabits, from Chinese cities to African deserts, from the barrios of Lima to the streets of Milan. And he knows that while strategies may differ, the mission remains the same, to proclaim the good news of Jesus Christ with clarity, joy, and tenderness. The Church now walks under his guidance. Not with loud declarations, but with the deliberate, faithful steps of a man who knows what it means to live at the crossroads of cultures and to lead with the gospel as compass.